Hold on.
The CDC in Atlanta. Okay, I just want to know. I was asking.
You do see that, like, by it being that way.
Don't get frustrated with me.
No, because you're not making sense. Like, you're missing the whole point of the discussion. We're not saying that the numbers are real. What we're saying is that men are more likely to overrepresent and women are more likely to underrepresent. I have one question to follow because we covered the male side. Cool. We'll start here and then work our way back. How many partners do you think the average woman has through a lifetime?
Okay, probably like 140.
So what? That's actually correct. It's 140. I'm just kidding. No. It really is 140. Yeah, the average woman is 140 men. Great job.
What about you?
Ooh, that's scary.
You think 8? Okay.
In a lifetime? That's crazy. I'm sorry.
It should be like 5.
It depends what kind of woman you are. I mean, like...
We're talking about an average female.
Is it 2023 stats?
All right. What about you? What do you think?
Like 7.
Okay. What about you?
10.
Okay.
2.
2. Okay.
In a lifetime?
Average woman's number is just like 5.
5.
And you said the average woman fucking with dudes, right?
What about you?
Yeah, probably.
Can you repeat the question one more time?
Basically, it's the same exact question as how many sexual partners for a man average. I'm asking you how many sexual partners for a female average.
I would say at least 100.
100. Okay.
For average?
Yes.
That means there's more. Someone who has more than.
All right.
Well, you got to think about OnlyFans and different.
Well, it's an average-looking woman. That's what I mean when I say.
Excuse me. I thought you were taking the average of women.
I was thinking about all women.
An average-looking woman.
Oh, an average-looking woman.
Okay. You guys understand, like, the majority of women in the United States are obese.
Oh.
For real?
You're lying.
Yeah, they are. They're obese.
No, for real.
Yeah.
Go to the majority of them. That's like 51%.
Like extremely obese.
What is obese?
I'm sorry, overweight. Extremely obese is about 40%. Yes, it's really bad. Yeah.
All right. So
the average woman in the United States weighs about 168 pounds.
Well,
168 pounds. See, again, like I'm trying. Like a lot of times we get this idea when we go to the Maxim party that the whole world is like this. It's not like it's not a Playboy party. The majority of the world is very different, right? But even with that, with women being overweight, how many sexual partners would they have?
With the average being overweight.
So hold on, let me go back since some of them misinterpreted the question. Average looking woman, you still think it's 140?
No, I'd say like 4.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, that's right next to 140.
Okay. What about you? Do you still think it's 8?
Yeah.
Okay.
8.
Do you still think it's 7?
Yeah.
Do you still think it's 10?
I might go to 6.
6 now?
What do you think?
Do you still think it's 2?
I reckon it's like 3 or 4 now.
Okay.
I'm going to double it and go 10.
10.
Okay.
Because I feel like men fuck anything, I say
You still
50.
think it's 100? Okay.
Yeah, 50.
50 now.
I think we're saying
Well,
12.
that's a big drop off. Okay, what about you?
12.
12? Okay.
Yeah.
What about you?
I don't believe it. It's like 10 at most. Are they paying?
Most women do. Most women do pay for sex.
And the
What are you
men
talking
paying
about?
for
What are you talking about? We're talking about women. Women, average women, sexual partners.
Because average women do pay for sex.
Average women do pay for sex.
I don't think that's true. I've
Who's
never
paying for
heard
sex?
of that. I'll say they have once or twice, but they don't
From who?
consistently. Like
Give us a
there's no
number.
female tricks.
From who? What man is
I would say less than 40% of the female
experience.
population has ever paid for sex.
From who? I don't get. There's like
I seen it. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Gigolos, Gary, you ain't see that movie?
To put it in perspective,
average woman, what do you
Magic
think?
Mike.
How many
Okay,
partners-
average women
Yeah.
exclude pain, pepper pain, or whatever.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know it was. I didn't know
Come on,
it was
Kai,
like that.
Give us a number.
You got it, Kai.
I would say like 10, maybe.
Good job.
So,
all right.
All of you
You
guys
gotta try though.
all of you guys gave lower numbers than the males. So you guys think
Not me.
that women are having less sex than men are?
I think women are having more.
You think they're
I
ready?
doubled it.
They're
I said
having
12.
more, but with the same partner though.
Okay. In America, data collected from 2015 to 2019 by the Center for Disease Control and Prevention has found that the median number of sexual partners for men was 4.3 and 6.3 for women.
Oh.
Gender-wise, perception of body count and are heavily affected by sexism, which is called sexual double standard. It's not affected by sexism; it's affected by evolutionary psychology. So, anyway, yeah, that it is interesting.
And the funny part is, we know that women chronically under report when it comes to sexual partners. So it's probably even higher than 6.
And then apparently over-report. But
Justin, what was
that's not a stat.
What?
I said apparently men over-report, but that's not in the stats. So.
Well, yeah,
We don't have those numbers.
you're missing the whole point. Like men,
But it's the same point. If you're saying that women over-report and men under-report, it's kind of like the same statistic that we're talking about.
Then
Like,
what should happen is women should have a lower body count than men on average.
Yeah.
but
if
I'm
men
not doing it.
overreport,
I'm not doing the interviews and taking up the numbers and everything here, but I'm just saying, like,
We generally, with anonymous reporting, people don't have.
What
to
are you
lie.
going off of then?
Yeah,
What are you going off of?
that's what I say. Who's doing these interviews and stuff? Who's
The
you do realize
CDC
that.
in
Hold on,
Atlanta.
hold
the
on, hold on.
CDC in Atlanta? Okay, I just want to know. I was asking.
You do see that, like, by it being that
Don't
way.
get frustrated with me.
No, because you're not making sense. Like, you're missing the whole point of the discussion. We're not saying that the numbers are real. What we're saying is that men are more likely to overrepresent and women are more likely to underrepresent. Even with that in place,
Yeah, it's a big gap.
There's still a
yeah.
significant gap.
I got you. I got you.
So what
I
I'm
was
arguing
asking-
is that it's probably even more. There's even more disparity than what the study is showing.
It would be like a 3.
So
and
I'm not looking at it from
8.
like strictly a number perspective. I'm looking at the trend.
Mm.
Men overreport, women underreport, and women are still beating men. What does that tell you?
It means that we need to all go to the CDC in Atlanta and put up what was your numbers and what was yours? Okay, let's.
Not the
There's a hotel on Peachtree downtown. You know, let's go.
Mike, I'm beginning to think that the hereditary comment might have been true. Anyhow,
Bro.
let's move forward. Justin, I want to know from your experience, bro. Why do you think men are not getting laid and women are?
Well, it's because of social media mostly. I mean, you could take a 4 on a scale of 1 to 10, and she can message a guy that's an 8 or a 9 or a 10, and he'll sleep with her just to do it. And the guy that is really in that girl's league, he can message her all day long, send flowers, do whatever he wants, and she'll ignore his ass. So it's a tough situation. I think social media has really messed it up, where the top echelon of guys get all the women. You could argue that that's Darwinism, but I do think it's a sad thing for families and for the future of America, particularly. And I don't see it changing anytime soon, man. It's a sad situation for sure.
Good point. All right. Some chats here. You want to move forward?
Yeah. Was there anything else that you want to add to this or no?
The issue is so that if you read the stories like Institute for Family Studies, it'll show that at 2008, when with the Facebook app got on the iPhone, you started seeing this rise of men that were having 0 sexual partners, and it skyrocketed. And it didn't quite happen for women to the same extent, because like what he said before, I know plenty of women who've told me before, they're like, oh, I dated this athlete, or I dated this movie star, or I dated this country singer. And I'm like, no, you didn't date him. I know him and his wife. You've never fucking dated him. There's no pictures of you guys together. You fucked him maybe twice, and he hit you up every once in a while. But the problem is, in her mind, she starts to believe, well, I'm worth this country singer. I'm worth this athlete. And so now every guy she dates from that point on, she's judged by that in her mind. And so it becomes harder and harder for the guys at the lower end of the spectrum to ever date her. And so what you end up with is the top 5% of guys with 150 sexual partners and the bottom 26% of men with 0. Does that make sense? Like the level of inequity, that's what's going on. And the thing is, like, for men at the top, do you know how many sexual partners they'll have? As many as you'll give them. They won't stop. It's not like Hugh Hefner and Bilzerian were like, well, I'm through fucking, no more fucking now. Like, they're just going to keep going and going and going. They're not going to stop. But for men at the bottom, 0 is 0. It's just 0. You see what I'm saying? And so that's the issue that's happening. And so what's happened is, which is kind of shocking for a lot of people, is that women on average are having more sexual partners than men, which it didn't used to be like that.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? That's the point that we're trying to make.
I have a question for the girls.
Yeah.
Knowing that women are having more sex than men in society, what would you tell your son to adapt to the new dating marketplace?
Well,
We can start right here and then work our way.
Well, I don't want kids, but I don't know.
What would you tell him?
I mean, there's nothing you really can, because men don't really listen. So they'll just do whatever they want anyway. So I feel like even if I told my son anything, he would just go do it.
Let's say they would actually listen to your advice. What
Okay.
piece of advice would you give them?
Wear a condom.
that's good advice.
Okay.
That's probably the one thing he won't
Myron,
listen
That's
to.
the question. What advice would you give your children?
Yeah, knowing that women are having more sex than men in today's day and age, what advice would you give to your son and or a male loved one?
Well, I would just give him the stats. Like, I wouldn't even try to give him my opinion. I would give him the stats, because men think on logic, right? And women think on emotion. My son ain't gonna listen to me, so I'm gonna give him the stats. I'm gonna pull up them CDC numbers, and I'm gonna tell him, like, hey, look, baby, these bitches got STDs over here, so you gotta be careful. You guys over here, be careful. You know, I would give him the stats.
Okay.
Logic.
So you would show him the stats, and anything else you would tell him? Be careful is what it was?
I would tell him, I mean, the stats would tell him to be careful. If he's a man and he's thinking off logic, and that's nature, not nurture right there. Like, men just naturally are going to think off logic. That was something that you even said on one of your shows. So it's nothing I can really help for that. Like, if I'm keep trying to pour my emotional input into my son is just going to probably emotionally push it back. Like, no, he's not going to refute them numbers though.
Okay.
And I might just tell him watch Fresh and Fit. I don't know.
What about you?